Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you are. Howdy. In this video tutorial, I will discuss how to use Owasp Zaps to exploit Mutilladae. Okay? So, let's get familiar with some of the terms, okay? The first thing that students need to know is called Owasp, right? What is Owasp? Owasp is an open web application security project, which is a non-profit foundation that dedicated to improve information security, okay? If students want to know more about Owasp Foundation, please go to this website, owasp.org. You will see more information about this, okay? Please take time to browse and explore this website whenever time permits, all right? So that is Owasp. And the program that we are going to use is called Owasp Zap, right? Owasp Zap basically is an open source web application security scanner. It is intended to be used by both those new to application security as well as professional penetration tester. It has over 30 vulnerabilities in at least one vulnerability for each of the Owasp top 10 vulnerabilities. Okay, so we're gonna run a scanner on application called Mutilladae. Mutilladae is a free open source vulnerable web application. This application can be installed in Linux, Windows using XAMPP, LAMP, and WAMP web server. Okay, I will show you in a minute how to explore some of these things, okay? The app provides easy access to hacking environment designed for labs, security enthusiasts, classroom, and CTF. Okay, so these are the terms that we may need to get familiar with, okay? Owasp, Owasp Zap, and Mutilladae. Before we do the lab, we need to make sure that our VMs are ready to use. So here is my Kali Linux as my attacker machine, right? Let's verify the IP address. So we're gonna do ifconfig, right? Sudo ifconfig, and then I need to put the username and password. Okay, here we can see that my net is 10.0.2.15. This is my net, which allow me to go to the internet, all right? And the second Ethernet is my internal IP address, or which is a host-only adapter. In my host-only adapter, I have a 56.106 IP, 56.106 IP address. So this will be my attacker or my scanner VMs, okay? So it's always a good idea to double check our VM machine before we do the lab, okay? Now I have another one, which is Metasploitable, my Metasploitable machine, okay? So I'm gonna log in. Student should have installed this in the first week of class, okay? So I hope that everyone already knew how to set all of this VM, all right? So now I'm going to do ifconfig, okay? I only have one Ethernet, which is Ethernet 0, so the 56.107 is my victim machine or my Metasploitable, right? metasploitable. So remember this, all right? And if I ping 192.168, let me see. If I ping 192.168.56.106, now you can see that I'm able to ping to the Kali Linux, and then I'm going to press Ctrl C and stop this. All right. So from here, from my Kali Linux, I'm going to ping to my attacker machine. Ping 192.168.56.107. All right. So here again, I'm successfully ping my victim machine or my metasploitable. All right. So that basically taking care of the VMs. All right. Okay. So how we use this Owasp Zap to exploit Mutilladae. Here I have I already prepared a documentation for student, right? How to do this lab. I'm going to attach this in the Blackboard. All right. So on the Kali Linux, you're gonna run this. You click these tools, look for web application analysis, right? Web application analysis. Notice that from this tool, number 3, you can find Owasp Zaps, right? Owasp Zap. So I'm gonna click this. It takes a while, so be patient, right? To do this hands-on lab exercise, maybe it takes about an hour or 2, all right? So make sure that students have some time to prepare and learn this lab, all right? I'm gonna cancel this. Okay, so now you see my Owasp Zap, right? Ready. The other thing that I need to set it up is the Mutilladae, right? When student install the Metasploitable 2, Mutilladae is already embedded in it. So how do we access that? I'm going to open my browser here. I'm going to open the browser. Okay. I'm going to open the browser. And I'm going to type this 192.168.56.107, right? Okay. Right? As soon as I type this IP address, you see that Metasploitable 2, right? Now you click the Mutilladae, right? Mutilladae. Click this one. Okay. This Mutilladae has so many stuff. So please explore this application whenever you have time. So today I'm going to go to the Owasp top 10 called, let me see, I believe cross-site scripting via input, get and post, and add to your blog. Here we go, right? So Owasp top 10, okay, from injection, cross-scripting, broken authentication, until the end, which is unvalidated redirect and forward. So in this exercise, we're gonna try the cross-site scripting via get and post and add to your blocks. Enter this. Okay. All right. So now this is our target machine, right? So I'm going to copy and paste this one. I'm going to copy and paste, right click, copy. And then I'm going to run this in the, I'm going to run this one. Where is this? I'm going to run this Owasp Zaps, right? This is my Owasp Zaps automatic scan. And then right click. I'm going to paste this. All right. So we open this Owasp Zap and then copy and paste the URL, okay, and then let's run it. Okay, click this run attack. Okay, notice that as we run a web scanner, this may take some time, so later on I'm gonna pause this. Okay, so if I pause that, it will show you some active scans, so just be patient. Okay, this may run about from 10-30 minutes up to an hour, depending on the things. Okay, so you notice that we are doing a scanner on this URL. All right, if I click this one, active scan, right, show scan progress detail, I'm going to click this one, show scan progress detail. It tells you the status of the scanning using Owasp Zaps. Later on, I think I just gonna stop up to SQL injection, okay? Because if I let it go through the end of this, it may take an hour. But for the purpose of this demonstration, I'm gonna let it run at least for half an hour, so it can scan up to here, right? So I'm gonna close this. I'm going to close this, right? So I'm gonna let it run. The spider, okay, output alert, okay, here we have the alert. We have the alert, okay. So I'm gonna let it run. I'm gonna pause my video for a few minutes, okay. So I'm gonna pause my video. I'm gonna let it run. So when you do active scan, it shows you all the status here, right? All the status. And then the spider, the alert, okay? So let me pause this video a little bit. And I'll get back to you soon. Okay, here I'm back. So let me see how far the Owasp Zap scanner already. Okay, so I'm gonna click here, show scan progress detail. Oh, there's still just the first one, okay, and I already ran for 6 minutes. Okay, since I already did this scanning before and I have the information that I needed to show to the student for the purpose of this lab, so I think I'm gonna just go ahead for the topic that I'm gonna discuss. Okay, so I'm gonna click close. All right, I'm gonna let it run. If you notice that, let's go to the alert here, right? Go to the alert. When you go to the alert tabs, right, notice that we have path transversal, right? Whenever you see a risk high, we need to pay attention on this, okay? So if you notice that on this website, we have a path transversal attack techniques that basically allow the attacker to access to files, directories, and commands that potentially reside outside the web document root directory, okay? So basically, the attacker can manipulate this URL address in such a way that the website will execute or reveal the contents of arbitrary files anywhere on the web server. Okay, so let me show you what it means. Okay, so now we find these vulnerabilities, right? So I'm gonna copy and paste this one. I'm gonna highlight this, right click or Control C, and then I'm gonna paste it in here, right? I'm gonna open a new page, which is, this is my original page, right? The Mutilladae site, and then I'm gonna add a new one, right? I'm gonna paste this one. You see that one? If I press enter, look what happened. It display the root. It provide it display information about the directory. Okay, for example, here we have root, right? The name is called root, and we have a password here. That means the user has set up a password. And 0 is the user ID, and this is the group ID. This is the information about the user. And also this is the home directory, which is root. And this is the shell, which is the path to the default shell for the user. Notice that with these vulnerabilities, let me show you again, with the Owasp Zaps that I just ran, this one, the path transversal, right, which is the first one, risk high, right, we can attack the file path location, which is the password, right, the account information, right. So as you can see that it shows you all the directory or the password information, username information about it. Okay. Let me see what else here. You see this MSF admin, which is the metasploitable, right? This is the name and the password, user ID, which is starting 1000, right? 1000. The first 1000 is a system file, okay? And when we create a new user in Linux, it will start with 1000. The root username in Linux is always 0, okay? So remember, the first 1000 or the first 500 are usually reserved for a system users, okay? Anything start with 500 or 1000, that means we created that account. So MS admin, and the password is MS admin, the user ID and the group ID. This is the information about MS admin, and this is the home directory, and this is the shell, the bash bin shell. All right. So as you notice that Owasp Zap is quite popular here. Where is it? Owasp Zaps. This type of web scanner, Owasp Zaps, is very popular. Okay. Here I just show you the path transversal. Okay. Perhaps in another video I'm gonna show you some other thing, because before this one I show you using DEM vulnerable web analysis. So in this class I'm gonna show you different tools, okay, so students can get familiar with those tools. Later on, when they finish this class on the penetration testing, students will learn a little bit more in depth. Okay, so let me show you. So now I'm gonna, let me pause this scanning, right? I'm gonna pause this and look at this, show scanning progress. Notice that I already ran for 12 minutes. It just still stay in the remote file inclusion. So this web scanner using Owasp Zaps may take an hours, right? So please be patient. But for the purpose of this class, I just demonstrate the information that I need. So I'm gonna close this. What else I wanna mention that? So here I have my node, right? So a path transversal is an exploit or attack to access file and directory that are stored outside the web folder by manipulating variable that reference file with the // okay. Okay, this is the node that I mentioned to you about the column meanings, right? If you go to this thing, let me see. This one, right, is the description of that, okay? The description of this one, right? It will display this. So basically, you just need to copy and paste, go to the alert, and look for the vulnerabilities issue that Mutilladae have, and then it will show you copy and paste to the new browser there. All right. Later on, maybe student can experiment using some other vulnerabilities here, right? Because we haven't finished scanning, so we cannot see more information here. All right. What else here? All right. So how we countermeasure this? Since we can exploit this Mutilladae, how we should how we countermeasure this? Okay. The first thing that we need to do is to validate the user's input. Okay. Validate the user input. This is important. Once we find the vulnerabilities issues, we need to patch them or change the code, right? So if you are a web developer or a programmer, this is what you are going to do and to learn how to patch that vulnerabilities, or we may need to change the code so we don't have that path transversal issues. Okay. The third one is do not put the web root on the system disk, especially for Windows. You need to separate this. All right. Okay, so hopefully this video is informative to you, and please take time and review this video one more time in case you need to learn a little bit more, okay, to understand the concept. All right. Thank you very much for watching.